Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Got the last ARCA race for Season 2 2022. We are here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, gonna go out for qualifying.
Is 50 miles per
Another
hour.
mile and a half, but
Track's clear.
it's
Push,
been
push,
flipped
push.
this week.
Okay, Jake.
The
We've got
setup
two
this week,
laps
as
to
I'm
jump
sure
the
you've
line.
heard from other people, is actually loose. So for once, instead of making an emphasis driving it off the right front or the right rear the entire time to keep the car from getting too tight over the course of the run, you actually kind of want to drive it off the right front to start to kind of make it neutral as the run goes along. So it's a little bit of a kind of an unlearning in a sense for me, but a lot of the same driving principles that I've been learning over the last few weeks in this car at mile and a half still apply. So gonna go out for qualifying here. First lap's gonna be a throwaway. I'm just gonna run the high side to try to get some heat into the right side tires and build a run to the line off of turn 4. And then just try to hang on and push it as hard as I can on lap 2. Try to dig all I can. It's a decently strong field. I'm car number 14 out of 23, so not crazy strong, but definitely strong enough that I would like to perform really well in this. Try to qualify as close to the front as I can. It's definitely looked like it's been really tough to pass people, plus there's a huge disparity in speed, so I am probably going to be underdriving the car, and the optimal that I have was from a league race that was run at night under different conditions, so it is not really applicable right now, but I'm just going to try to get it through turn 4, hold on to it, work it off, and slide it a little bit, so that's going to kill the run. It's not going to be a very good lap. 18. It's good for 6, but definitely had probably at least half a tenth more out of it that could have potentially moved us up. In practice, I had been getting in the 7s, high 6s, so yeah, we're gonna go back as more people turn times. I don't know. I don't know if I would have gotten ahead of the 805, but you know, certainly could have been a bit better. So no big deal. Not much I can do about that. Like I said, trying to push it. Probably should have spent a lot more time practicing qualifying and learning to drive it on the edge than what I did. So for settings, I have bumped the steering ratio up to 12 to 1 from 10 to 1, and then took the offset from -4 down to -11. Brake bias I just left. Won't really be touching the brake bias unless I'm trying to avoid somebody or do something evasive, really. I don't think even on the back end of the race I should really be touching the brakes. So you got a good group that's really tight. The front 5 are only about half a tenth off from each other, and then a little bit of a gap to the rest of us, and then we're really tight from 6th all the way through 17th. So it's a pretty tight field. It's going to be a good race for sure. My big thing is honestly, if I could save tires and work my way to a top 5, I'd be really happy with that. But anything inside the top 10, I'll be happy with. Really don't want to give up spots from where I'm starting by the end of the race. Obviously, if I get up at the beginning because people are flying, that's one thing. But would love to finish 7th or better. But we'll shoot for a top 5, see if we can get there, keep it clean, make up for that rough ending at USA International in the Rookie Legends race, and see if I can get the safety rating going in the right direction the rest of this week. I want to try to get it up to a 4.0 quickly so I can run the A class at Gateway. I don't know if I'll be able to run the NIS, which is a C class, which I could do right now. I don't know if I'll have, since there's only limited times that runs a week, I don't know if I'll be available in any of those times. So I want to try to get one of those races in because I think the next gen car at Gateway could be really fun.
Laps. The track temp
So trying to do that and
78
keep,
Fahrenheit.
run some of these bigger tracks with a few more laps. I mean, this one's only 35 here, but at a mile, anything over a mile, I believe it is, each corner counts. For corners per incident, whereas my short tracks it only is, one end counts. So, yeah, I just want to try to improve if I can, see if I can get to that, so I can get one of those races in if I can't run NIS. But if not, no big deal. Sometimes racing gods just aren't going to be with me, but see what we can do. So I'm not gonna keep it from trying to drive my best. Just obviously trying to be a lot more aware of what's going on and a little bit more safer than what I have been. So, but the standard 35 laps here for a mile and a half for ARCA should be a lot of fun. I think the other thing too I've been seeing that a lot of people have been doing is moving up like a lane or so the last third of the race, or between 20 and 25 laps in. So try to keep an eye out for that and find when the car wants to shift around for some grip, and see if we can make some forward progress. I don't know, it kind of feels like it's going to be, I don't know, maybe a first gear start. It's hard to say what it's going to be. Not a good start either way. Kind of got caught there trying to figure out the gearing, and everybody pulled away. Don't really plan on going below the white line on the front stretch this race if I can avoid it, but we'll just see. Just going to work our way into turn 1 underneath the 16. Just going to tiptoe. Certainly not going to be driving it anywhere near as hard as I did in qualifying. 16 is going to get the run off too, so we'll just fall in behind him. Just going to ease it back out. See the 21 going high. It's going to start. That was the 15 going high, excuse me, not the 21. 21's directly behind us. So we're just going to work it in. I think you're going to see some people trying to work the top, middle of the top to start. I don't think it's really going to be viable at all. And we'll just kind of see how we go from here. 6 goes up high into 3. It's working behind the 9. 9 was your pole sitter falling back, so I think he might be already in tire saving mode, whereas the rest of the field's kind of pushing a bit harder. Seen some people argue that this week, because of the setup being loose, it's better to push hard to start, kind of build a lead, and then let everybody come back rather than tire saving, but I still think I'll have a tendency to overdrive it if I do that and burn up, so just going to kind of get into a tire saving mode and fall behind some people. I think for the most part everybody up ahead's all going to be higher I-rated drivers, so I would expect them to know a little bit more than me.
Fastest lap for Phillips, 30.92.
You can see the leader is just trying to check out as much as he can. We'll see if that strategy actually works out over the course of the race. Decided if I want to try to get by the 9. We've got cars fanning out everywhere down the back stretch. And there goes a wreck, so we're going to lose some people now. Hopefully there's not anything left over by the time we get back to them. Kind of spreads out the field behind.
That lap was at 31.41.
It's fine to sit behind the 9 unless he really starts losing the 16. We'll keep an eye on the 21 if he's going to get aggressive to try to get by. Sorry if you're in any of the chat, I apologize for that. Point forward back to the 21. Like I said, we'll kind of keep an eye on that.
Car ahead is Vincent.
Still sitting in 7th, which is where we started, which is just fine with me. Just working our way through nice and easy. Still very early on in the race, as we're only going to be completing lap 6 this time by. Front of the field's kind of spreading out a little bit. It's about 0.8 between the 16 and the, or between the 9 and the 16. So, like I said, we'll kind of keep an eye on that gap. If it starts to spread too much, I may need to try to push it to get by the 9. I don't want to lose touch with that front pack. And for the most part, it's stabilized to the 21 behind, sitting right around half a second or so. Got a slower car coming up. I get a little loose there in the middle of 3 and 4. 18 is going to be a slower car. $16 looks like he's running really high entry into 1 and then cutting it down out of 2, down to the middle of the track. Got some side-by-side between the 15 and the 21 behind. He's going to try to work the high side around the 21 through 3 and 4. Gap might be opening just a little bit between the 9 and the 16. Like I said, I don't want to wait too long and not be able to have a shot at the top 5, but I don't want to go too early and burn stuff up either. I have a feeling the 9 knows a little bit about tire saving this week here, but I could be wrong. So it looks like the gap's stabilized a little bit. 21's falling back. He's back to 10. The 7 and the 15 were able to work by him. Gonna get a little bit of weird entry into 1. Causes me to get a little tight in the center of the corner and had to kind of lift on the throttle there. The car got a bit loose. 9 pulls away a little bit. 1's working his way up through the field. You can see him now in 10th. So that could be a car that could easily get by us. Nine's slowly working his way back to the 16. 18's not really making too much of a factor. He's kind of just sitting in between the 9 and the 16. Neither one's really close to be able to do anything. See if the 7 and the 15, they're looking like they're going to run side by side. 7's working his way up through the field. We are working lap 12 of 35, so this time by will be roughly a third of the way through the race. Starting to see a little bit of tire fall off. Not anything horribly drastic. Get just a little low there on the front stretch, kind of wiggles the car.
Okay, Jake.
18's trying to work by the 16. Not really sure why. Unless he was trying to get out of the way. 9's starting to close back up to the 16. Don't know if that was because of what the 18 and the 16 were doing. Just rotating just a little bit in the middle of the 3 and 4, so just got to have a little bit of counter steer to kind of balance it out. We're pulling away from the 7 and the 15 and the 1 behind. Just need to start lifting a little bit more going into turn 1, not use quite as much wheel deflection. And I've been slowly closing back up to the 9, so it's feeling like I'm in a pretty good spot right now, just riding, logging laps, trying to balance the tires out. Close enough, feel that little bit of that rotation there out of 4. 7's 1.2 back, 15 and 1 are going to battle side by side.
Your lap time was 31.68.
Hopefully I'm not burning up tires too much. Trying to find the right balance of leaning on the right front without going too much. Get by the both 9 and the 16 before the end of it, that'll be the top 5 I was looking for, which I would be very happy with. Leader's gone. Oh, and I just cut it a little too close, tapped the wall. Hopefully it doesn't hurt the aero of the car too much. Kind of cost me a little bit of time to the 9 there. Just pushed it a little too far up. Setup's a lot of fun to drive with it being like this, though. 1.5 back to the 7, 1.9 to the 1. Start lifting a little bit more going into 1. Tires are definitely starting to fall off a little bit. I don't want to wear it out too much. Don't think I'm quite to brake drag yet, but got it on the throttle a little too quick there. That kind of caused that rotation, kind of transferred the weight around. Seven's starting to pull away a little bit from the one. I said being a little more kind with it into turn one. As the tires start to wear on the right sides. Maybe the 9's going to be pulling away from me the rest of the race, so I might need the 6 to come back to us to have a shot at a top 5. I feel like I can get to the 16 and get by him. It's going to be a matter of if anybody else behind can catch me,
Okay, Jake.
and if
Fuel's good.
you know, anybody else happens to lose it up front. Looks like the 6 might be coming back to us a little bit, but we've still got 17 laps, so I don't know. A lot of time 7's making big gains. 7A on the 1 both, so they might be coming before the end of the race as well. It's going to be 1.3 and 1.6 at the line. Even the 16 pulled away from me about a tenth that lap. Trying to be a little bit kinder to the tires so I have a little bit more of the last third of the race. Might not pay off, but see what I can do. 9's going to be looking to the back side of the 16 now. Got up to the 1 and the 7 kind of stabilized. 16 or 9 got into the wall there into turn 1, I believe. It was kind of similar to what I did a few laps ago. Watch how I get back onto the throttle in the middle of 3 and 4 and not cause that over rotation. 7's definitely closing up, but like I said, I'm not helping myself at all either. Gonna need to take a little bit of a wider arc into turn 1. 9 was able to get by the 16. Nine's catching up to the 6. 1, 7 and the 1 are closing up. Got 13 to go, so they could still be potentially getting to me, and now's the time to start thinking about probably moving up a little bit, help with the looseness of the car. I don't know, it's looking pretty tough to find any spots, and it's very possible we could be losing spots before the end of this as well. It's not my best drive, I'd say, but it was a pretty tough field as well, at least for me. Start bringing it up about half a lane or so. Feels like I'm really only keeping pace with everybody up front rather than actually gaining on them. You see the 9 looking to the inside of the 6 as they go out of turn 4 onto the front stretch. A little bit of contact. Can't tell if that was the 18 getting the wall or if that was the 16.
You've just done a 32.36.
More laps I can run and keep the 7 and the 1 from gaining too much time, the harder it'll make it for them to get by me. But they're definitely catching. 6 gets into the wall out of turn 2 down the backstretch. It's going to slow him down. I don't know if he'll have enough damage that it'll make a difference in his pace, but just see what we can do. Get a little loose there off of turn 4. 7's catching a lot faster than the 1 is, but even the 21's working his way back up and starting to catch.
That was a 32.39. Alright, Jake, that's good consistency. Keep it up.
Side by side between the 6 and the 16 off of turn 2. Just watching that battle up ahead. All the while, the 7's closing in. So, I guess maybe the best I could hope for would be a 6th place finish, unless something happens to all the cars up front. But the 1 and the 2, the 1 and the 21 are closing in big time as well, so I might have pushed it a bit too hard to start. But we're going to do what we can. We'll have 8 laps to go next time by. One thing's for sure, it's going to be a good finish no matter what. Just trying to keep it as straight as I can through the corners off. Keep it from sliding, burning up any speed. 0.6 back to the 7 now. Just cannot quite do enough to get to these guys. You see the 6 pulling away from the 16 now. Just gonna try to chase the 19 back down, or the 9 back down. I got a 3-car train to the 7, the 1, and the 21 all trying to catch me. And they're doing a good job because they're only 0.5 back. And they're all nose to tail, basically.
You've just done a 32.46.
18 trying to work to the inside, and the 16 clears him through the middle of 1 and 2. Still don't know why the 18's really inserting himself in this battle up here, but to each their own, I suppose. Most part able to stabilize, gap back to the 7, so every time we're able to do that, that's less laps they have to get by. 6 to go. Trying to do what I can to see if I can at least get to the 16 before the end of it. 18's able to get by him, or the 16, excuse me, got by the 18. So we're closing up to the 18. Which one thing's for sure, if we get to him, it's not going to be easy to get by him because he's not been willing to let people by. 7, 1, and 21 tighten up. They're still half a second back though. We got 5 to go.
32.36. Good consistency. Keep them coming.
9 is pulled away from the 6 and the 16. So his tire saving really did work out. He knows how to push it now. You can see side by side between the 7 and the 1 now. Hopefully they can do that for a little while and I can extend the gap a little bit. 6/10 now with 4 to go. 16's running right up against the wall in the 1. You can see the 9's taking a very high line now through 1 and 2. I don't think I want to go quite that high. Catching up to the 16, I just don't know if there's going to be enough time. Only going to have 3 to go this time by. Front 3 are gone. Even the 9 and 4th is checking out. All the 6 is trying to get back to him. 1 was able to work by the 7. He's 6/10 back.
Time was at 32.43.
Let's see if I can keep him back there and at least finish 7th. Making some late race progress here in the closing laps. It's going to be an interesting finish. I don't know how much of a factor the 18 is going to play in it. I really wish he would just get out of the way once we get to him. We got some smoke and a slow car up ahead. A front stretch. 1 closes in a 10th, but we've only got 2 to go.
2 laps left.
9's falling back a little bit. 6 is going to try to work to the inside of the 9 off of turn 2. Not quite able to get there. I get a little slide happy off of 2. See the 16. I have to watch for any contact. A slower car up ahead as well. I don't know if that's the 5 or not, but we're going to get the white flag now. 1's still half a second behind, but I'm watching this battle up front to see if anybody has any contact. 16 almost looks like he got into the wall. A little bit of a higher entry into 1 and 2. Don't think I'm going to be able to do anything for a pass unless somebody has a wreck up ahead. 6 did a good job working back by the 9. He kind of does a slide job. We'll see if the 9 tries to get underneath. A little loose there. I'm not going to be close enough to do anything, so we're going to bring it home in 7th. Glad to have hung on to it and finished 7th. It was a really good finish. Lot to learn for sure if I want to run this again and be even faster. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. It's like I said, not the traditional ARCA tight mile-and-a-half, like really try to work it on the right rear to save the right front kind of setup. It was a lot of fun. It's a good setup for this week to have a lot of fun with, and you can see some people working different lines and making it work. So good combination, I think, this week at Las Vegas. We'll take a look at the tires, see how bad I did. 75, 73. So like I said, you can definitely see we're running off the right rear without even having to try. I don't think anybody's. I don't know. We'll see if anybody puts tire wear, and I probably was really bad compared to everybody. But let's take a look at the incident, see what happened. Get to this and bring the camera down a little bit. Alright, so 6 is going to have just a little bit of contact with the wall going into 3. 8's going to be on the outside. He's going to get the wall off of turn 2. Okay, there was a wreck right there, so that was with the 5. Let's jump up to that. Let's see what happened here. I don't know if the 21 does anything. So it looks like the 5 tried to check up a little bit for the 21. So the 5 was getting a really good run into 1 and 2. He was all over the back of 20 when he kind of checks up. The 12 just gave him a little bit of shove, and it gets you really uneasy. And the 5 is trying to hold on to it, and it just gets piled into back behind the field. The 22 gets into the 5, and let's see. I think it's going to be the 7. There's the contact. Oh, the 18. I don't know, the 18 saw the 5 and just really kind of didn't have anywhere to go and made contact with the 22, and then goes down in front of the 10. You can also see that was the 19 that gets into this. Let's see what happens. He's seeing the wreck happen, so he goes down low. He might have had a shot to come back to the right to avoid it on the high side. Somebody else comes flying in. I mean, this apparently was a big wreck, because this was the 17 that, let's see his path through this. He's going to be coming off turn 2. He's going to see it happen on the middle of the backstretch, so he's going to cut all the way to the bottom, and then he thinks it's clear, and then it's not quite clear, and then he goes down and makes contact with 10 that shoots him up into the wall, destroys the right front. Yeah, that was, I collected quite a few. I didn't even see the extent of that in the rearview mirror, so that collected quite a few. So let's see, we're going to have the 18. It's going to spin, trying to stay off the 17. Just got on the brakes too hard. 15 is going to get turn 4 wall just barely. 11. Gonna drag the wall into turn 3. 17's going to get loose, try to catch it. Gets tight, sends up the track. It's going to ride the wall. 15 is going to get the wall out of turn 2. 23 blinks. 11 is going to get the wall going into turn 1. 6 did that. I did that. 6 gets the wall again outside. Got the 4 behind. He gets a little loose. Chases it up the track. Gets the wall. 16 is going to get the wall just barely into turn 3. Might have even almost been netcode. 7 on the outside of the 1. Gets just a little loose. Tags the wall out of 2. 20 gets loose out of turn 2. Drags the wall. 11's loose on the apron. I don't know what he did there. That was the end of the race. Okay. So yeah, that was, like I said, overall pretty quick, pretty clean race. 3 was able to get the win. Just starting 4th. So yeah, we'll take a look at the results. Hopefully some good things out of those, given that we were able to finish where we started. Got away with the 0x. Top split of 7. 31.99 strength of field's not bad. Able to gain 0.59, so 0.19 of that was from the actual race itself, and then I got the point 0.4 bump for going up a whole number, so up to 3.47. So I said a few more races like that, be fixed, whatever, keep it clean. 4.0 is not that far off overall, which will put me in a much happier spot than where I was a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. So able to get another 54 in iRating, so we're up to 2927. I think that might actually be my personal highest so far. So hopefully every time I get out of a race, if I have decent luck and drive well, it'll continue to be a personal highest, and we'll keep it going. But you can see, aside from the people that got caught in that wreck at the beginning, really pretty clean race overall. 16 drivers finishing without any incident points. So would expect that out of a stronger field, but really a clean race. But a lot of some passing opportunities based on how much you save tires, but a lot of good racing side by side, quite a bit. So quite a bit off the pace of the race winner and even the 20 who finished second. You can see I was almost a tenth off the 20, and I was a tenth and a half or 2.5 tenths off the three. So plenty of pace for me to try to find. I think honestly, I just probably needed to push it a little bit harder at the beginning than what I did, but a little more of an arc into the corner and probably working the throttle a little bit better. Through the corners would have benefited me even better and potentially allowed me to move up towards the front. But did a good job trying to close back to the 9, the 6, and the 16. Just didn't quite have enough to get there. So, but was able to hold off the 1, the 7, and the 21 as well when I thought that was looking like I was going to lose a few spots. So I will gladly take a 7th place finish out of that. No, it wasn't the top 5 I was shooting for, but way ahead of where I was supposed to finish, and I was able to maintain my starting spot. So I will call that a good race for sure. So feel free to leave any tips if you guys have run this. If there's anything you've seen out of it or anything you take out of it. Love to give you guys lessons and show you some of the stuff that I'm learning and the progress that I'm making, but also keep you guys entertained along the way. So good way to close out the ARC season for this one, and hopefully continue learning and getting better performances out of it. So until the next one, I hope all your laps are fast, your races are clean, and your finishes are good. Thanks for watching.